Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Rachel David White, coming to you live from the beautiful hills from Uyo, rather the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government reconfirmed that population census will hold May 3rd. INEC votes 3 billion naira to fight electoral cases. Plus, NATO condemns dangerous Russian nuclear rhetoric. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Our first report this afternoon is the federal government has reconfirmed that the 2023 National Population and Housing Census will commence on 3rd May. A member of the Publicity and Advocacy Committee on the 2023 National Population and Housing Census, Dr. Gaba Abati, reconfirmed this in Abuja. He said that the 3-day exercise would commence May 3rd and end on May 5th across the country. Abari, who is the Director General National Orientation Agency, explained that the census exercise would capture every person, household, and structure for national planning and project execution purposes. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it has budgeted over 3 billion naira to defend the result of the February 25th presidential and National Assembly election and the March 18 governorship and state assembly polls. According to reports, several candidates who lost in the elections have filed petitions at the presidential and state election petition tribunals to challenge the outcome of the polls. Recall that the INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu lamented that the commission was handling over 600 cases in several courts across the federation. However, the commission, in its election project plan for 2023 general election, earmarked 3 billion naira for the prosecution of election-related cases. Meanwhile, the governorship candidates of the All Progressives Congress in Adamawa State, Aishatu Ahmed, also known as Binani, has demanded a review of the result of the March 18 governorship election in 16 local government areas of the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared the governorship election in the state inconclusive, with a plan for supplementary elections in 69 polling units. However, dates for the supplementary elections in 69 units across 47 registration areas where elections were cancelled is yet to be fixed. Both the governorship candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Hamadu Fintiri and Binani, disputed the outcome of the polls and have taken their battle to INEC's headquarters in Abuja. And still on electoral matters, the United Kingdom has said that the mission is working on the list of those it will slam with visa ban. It also said the mission had between 5 and 10 names on its list already, noting that more would be added. The Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ben Jones, made this known while speaking on a current affairs program on Nigerian information. According to him, the names of defaulters would not be published as expected in some quarters. Reacting on his Twitter handle, Fani Kayode urged the British envoy to steer clear Nigeria's internal affairs. In a separate development, the Niger Delta Development Commission has raised alarm over fraudulent use of its name and logo by scammers using dubious websites and social media accounts to defraud members of the public. Its Director, Corporate Affairs, Aboshade Ibitoye, in a statement, confirmed stakeholders and beneficiaries of its program that the NDDC was not in any way involved in the circulation of 100,000 naira household grants to support small and medium-sized enterprises (SMEs) by granting financial assistance to all Nigerian citizens and businesses. Ibitoye also noted that the fraudulent Household Grant Application 2023 tagged Niger Delta Development Commission Support Fund is a scam. The Commission urged the public to be wary to avoid falling victim to fraudulent activities by some dubious individuals who impersonate the NDDC. On security, the Nigerian Communications Commission's Computer Security Incident Response Team, NCC CSIRT, has warned those looking to acquire pirated software and resources that they risk becoming victims of cyber criminal gangs that are using AI-generated YouTube videos to distribute malware. The NCC CSIRT further warned in its advisory that consequences of falling victim could be significant for individuals and organizations, resulting in critical damage like data theft, financial loss, identity theft, system damage, and reputation damage. According to the NCC Director of Public Affairs, Ruben Moka, in a statement, the advisory recommended installation of an antivirus software with updated internet security and installing an endpoint detection and response solution that is comprehensive. On education, the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, has written to the Minister of Education, Adamu, demanding compliance with the judgment of the National Industrial Court in Abuja, which sacked 5 rectors in federal polytechnics. In a letter to the Education Minister, ASUP National President Anderson Eziebe recalled that Justice Obaseki Osage sacked the affected rectors following a suit by the Academic Staff Union. He said judgment has been delivered in a suit in agreement with the union's contention that the persons so appointed do not have the requisite qualifications captured in the law to be so appointed, amongst other declarations of the court. And now to Africa, where military and civilian political leaders in Sudan have begun talks in Khartoum on bringing the government-backed militia and the RSF under the control of the army. The talks were part of an agreement signed in December meant to pave the way for a return to democratic rule and due to be adopted formally in less than 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the army chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, who seized power in a coup 2 years ago, said he wants to put an end to the armed forces supporting dictatorial government in Sudan. And still in Africa, the Kenya Railway Corporation has suspended all its commuter train operations in the capital Nairobi ahead of today's anti-government protest called by opposition leader Raila Odinga. In a statement, the Kenya Railways management attributed the decision to unavoidable circumstances. However, the train operator said all its commuters train between the old railway station in the city center, Nairobi Central Station, to the Nairobi-Mombasa Railway Station, Nairobi Terminus, would run as scheduled. Reports say the opposition coalition is holding protests in Nairobi and other parts of the country to push the electoral reforms and reduction of prices of basic commodities. On the foreign scene, NATO has condemned Russia's dangerous rhetoric after Vladimir Putin's decision to station tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. The organization, which is closely monitoring the situation, said the move would not lead it to change its own nuclear strategy. However, Ukraine has called for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council to address the potential threat of President Putin's announcement. According to a report, President Putin said Moscow would not be transferring control of its arms to Minsk, noting that Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko has long raised the issue with him. Meanwhile, EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell urged Belarus to opt out of a deal with Putin, warning the country could face further sanctions if it went through with it. And still on the foreign scene, tens of thousands of people have reportedly taken to the streets across Israel after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fired his defense minister Yoav Gallant. Reports say Gallant had spoken out against controversial plans to overhaul the justice system. Earlier today, Israel's President Isaac Herzog called on the government to halt the reforms, adding that the reforms include plans that would give the government decisive control over the committee which appoints judges. And still to come in the news. Bukayo Saka shines as England dismisses Ukraine in Euro qualifier. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. On our business news, the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, has said that the oil and gas sector has recorded 36% premium retention in 2022 and ranked as the underwriting sector with the lowest premium retention in the country. NICOM discloses in its bulletin of the insurance market performance. According to reports, the average premium that the entire insurance companies were able to retain stood locally at 71.3% in the period under review, noting that the face of operational challenges posed in domestic and global economies, the industry continued to post inspiring numbers of business retention. Reflective of the market's resilience and increasing capacity, the report further stated that the attainment was as a result of growing awareness and market expansion as well as consumers' confidence. Still in business, the Nigerian Exchange Limited closed lower last week as investors took stock of the hike in the monetary policy rate by the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria and continued with their profit-taking. Reports say the end of the trading activities last week, the market capitalization declined by 13 billion naira, noting that the all-share index closed 0.04% lower at 54,892.53 compared to the 54,915.39 that it shared the week with. Similarly, all other indices finished lower except for NGX Consumer Foods, Goods and NXG growth, which appreciated by 1.11% and 2.90% respectively. And now to our health news. A total of 922 cholera cases have been reportedly recorded in Nigeria, and 32 of them succumbed to the disease in 2023. This is according to the latest situation report obtained from the World Health Organization, WHO, who stated that the data include the respected positive rapid diagnostic test and laboratory confirmed cholera cases, noting that the case and death numbers presented are unreliable due to differences in reporting systems and under-reporting. The health body added that as of March 20, 2023, at least 24 countries continue to report cholera cases, with reference to historical transmission patterns and personality. And still in health, the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has alerted Nigerians to the recalled Ezrike and Delsam Pharma artificial eye drops. The recall is contained in a public alert signed by NAFDAC Director General Professor Mojishola Adeyeye in Abuja. She said that the eye drop was recalled in February due to suspected contamination with Pseudomonas and a highly resistant bacterium, noting that laboratory testing identified the bacteria in opened Ezrike bottles from multiple sources. The NAFDAC boss added that unopened bottles are currently being examined to check whether contamination occurred during manufacturing and advised healthcare professionals as well as consumers to report any suspicion or adverse drug reaction caused by substandard and falsified medicines to the nearest NAFDAC office. And Sport England forward Bukayo Saka's goal has inspired a 2-0 win against Ukraine, maintaining a perfect start to their Euro 2024 qualifying campaign. Saka is said to be one of the standout performers in Arsenal's climb to the top of the Premier League this season, and the forward was at his very best once again at Wembley. Dismissing Ukraine ensured the positive mood will continue while England waits to resume their qualifying campaign against Malta and North Macedonia in June. And still in sport, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club manager Antonio Conte has left the mutual consent after 16 months in charge. Reports say Conte's assistant Christian Stellini will step up as head coach for the rest of the season, with former midfielder Ryan Mason as his deputy, noting that his departure means Spurs are searching for their fourth permanent manager in 4 years since Mauricio Pochettino left in 2019. Italian Conte, who had won league titles with former clubs Chelsea, Juventus and Inter Milan, was appointed in November 2021 after Spurs sacked Nuno Espirito Santo. In our entertainment news, Apple Music today has announced Loyisho G. Jana as the latest featured artist in its Africa Rising Artists Development Program. The music streaming platform noted that selection for Apple Music's Africa's Rising honor is the recognition of his impressive progress after making his debut in the mainstream pop scene. The South African singer and songwriter is said to have made history as the first South African artist signed to Republic Records in America with singles Easy on Me in 2021 and Speak in 2022. Also, Sean Carter, popularly known as Jay-Z, has found himself richer than ever as he cements his status as the world's wealthiest rapper. The 53-year-old music mogul is now worth $2.5 billion after Forbes updated its estimation of his net worth. Reports say Jay-Z recently crossed the $2 billion mark due to his recent sale of a majority of his 50% stake in the luxury cognac brand Dusibac % branch Bacardi, which earned him a reported $750 million, adding that he has also been added high after Billboard ranked him as the greatest rapper of all time last month on a list of the top 50 MCs ever. And that's what we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 12. I am Rachel David White. Good afternoon.